Hello dear aspirants, welcome to Arpita Sharma classes. I am your educator Anjali and we are here to cover some important topics of Indian geography for 2021. Before I would start, I want to make an announcement regarding the price hike on Unacademy Plus. As you all are aware that Arpita Sharma ma'am is taking live classes on Unacademy Plus on history and polity, you can subscribe to Unacademy Plus as there will be a price hike from 20th of October. So please use the code Sharma20 to get 10% discount on Unacademy Plus for either 1 or 3 or 6 or 12 months course. So hurry up and subscribe to the classes, and also you can avail handmade notes on Unacademy Plus for your UPSC journey. The topic for today is major ports in India. We all know India is a peninsular country and we have water on the three sides, on Himalayas on one side. Okay, because we have water on the three sides, for us to have trade, it becomes very important because we can have a lot of ports here, so trade can be made possible with the countries that are there on the other sides of the ocean. Okay, so it is important for us to know what are these important ports that are present here. As you can see in the map, the longest coastline that India has is of state Gujarat. Okay, Gujarat has the longest coastline. So whenever you see it is longest coastline is nothing but how many kilometers of coastline does it have. So always it is Gujarat because Gujarat has so much area. See, all this area is for the coastline only. Everything opens up to the sea. So it is Kandla port in Gujarat. Then there is Mumbai, JNPT, that is Jawaharlal Nehru. Then is Marmagao, New Mangalore, Cochin, and Chennai, Ennore, Vishakhapatnam, Paradeep, and Kolkata. So let us look into the details of these ports. This will become important. Like I told you, the match the following type of questions, and also there is a current aspect to it which I will be covering in this lecture. First, there is a Chennai port in Tamil Nadu. It is an artificial port and it is the second busiest port. So you can see here the Chennai port is here and it is the second busiest port. Let us look at which is the first busiest port also. Please remember, this is an artificial port. Kerala, there is a Kochi port. It is situated in the Vembanad lake. So this also becomes important, and exports of spices and salts take place. As you might have known, many of the travelers who came into India usually came onto the Kerala port itself. Okay, Kerala coast. So this becomes important because lot of our spices and salts that were produced, and also some goods that were produced in India, were also exported to other countries from the Kerala coast. And then Tamil Nadu, there is another port called as Ennore port here. Okay, Ennore port, it is the India's first corporationalized port. Okay, remember these terms whenever it is appearing, like it is the artificial port, it is second busiest port, it is there on Vembanad lake, and it is the first commercialized ports. These are all static questions, so these are like scoring type of questions. If you miss marks in these, it becomes difficult in the analytical type of questions. West Bengal, there is Kolkata port, India's only major riverine port. So this also becomes important again, major riverine port. So you can see here each port is having its own speciality. So you have to know what are these ports famous for, or what is this port exactly of. When you know this, when there is a straightforward question, like if you get, even if you get a statement type of question, one of the statement reads it is one of the major riverine ports, you know it is Kolkata port. Okay, so you don't miss out on questions that are straightforward like this. So making a note of this will take you just as the length of this video is, maybe 15 minutes or so, but what value it is going to add to your answer is immense, because each mark makes a difference in your examination. This Kolkata port is situated on the Hooghly river, and it is also known as the Diamond Harbour. Everything, whatever I had to cover, I have covered it in the very simplest and the brief manner. Okay, please make a note of all this. Gujarat, there is Kandla port. It is also known as the tidal port, and it is acknowledged as a free trade zone, largest port by volume or the cargo that is handled, because it is going to handle a lot of cargo here. It is also largest port by volume, which is the second busiest port that I told you, it is Chennai port, which is a artificial port. Then comes the Karnataka Mangalore port, deals with the iron ore exports. And Goa, there is Marmagao. This you will remember easily because Marmagao, it is Goa only. Situated on the estuary of river Zuari, so this becomes important here. Maharashtra, Mumbai port, the largest natural port. It is the largest natural port and harbour in India. It is the busiest port in India. Which is the second busiest one? It is the Tamil Nadu port, that is the Chennai port. Maharashtra, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust, JNPT. It is also known as Navasheva, Navi Mumbai largest artificial port. Okay, this is the largest artificial port. Other artificial port is also there, that is Chennai. If in the statements you get, is Jawaharlal Nehru port the only artificial port? No, the Chennai port is also an artificial port. It is the largest container port in India, container port, and you have to also remember the cargo port. Okay, it is the largest cargo port, which is Kandla. And Odisha, there is Paradeep Natural Harbour, first major port commission after independence. It is not the first ever port, but it is the first port after independence. It deals with the export of iron and aluminium to Japan in huge quantities. There is Tamil Nadu port again. In Tamil Nadu, there is Tuticorin. It is a major port in South India. It is here, which I have not mentioned in the map. This is Tuticorin port. Okay, it is also known as, whenever you hear in the news, you will hear it as Tutukudi. Okay, it is Tuticorin. Okay, major port in South India. It deals with the fertilizers and petrochemical products. Visakhapatnam port, it is in Andhra Pradesh. It is the deepest port of India. Again, an important line to remember. Deals with the export of iron ore to Japan. So always remember which are all. Here you have some common features here in the ports. There is iron that is exported to Japan from Odisha port also, that is Paradeep, and also from the Visakhapatnam port to the Japan, which is iron ore. So both will become important. In the statements, if you get these are the ports, which are the ports that is going to export to Japan, you can easily eliminate the other options. And also remember, all the ports that are there, always there is a misconception that all the ports that are there may be on the eastern side. You can tell that it is exporting to Japan, but no, not all the ports are exporting to Japan, that too especially iron. Amenities for building and fixing of ships are also available in the Visakhapatnam port. And Tamil Nadu, there is Chennai, which is an artificial port. We have already seen it. And India is having 77,500 kilometers approximately of the coastline and forming one of the biggest peninsulas in the world. Okay, you can see 7,000 kilometers is not a smaller number, and because of this, the ports become strategically important for us, for exports, for imports, and also for other activities like recreational activities as well. The Union Cabinet has given its in principle approval for setting up of a major port as Waterways near Danau in Maharashtra. So which port it will be? It will be a third port in Maharashtra. So it is important to remember, and Maharashtra becomes important because it is having 3 ports. And when you get Vadhavan was in news recently, for what? It is because there is a port construction that is going on at Vadhavan. Present situation of Indian ports. There is some problem with the Indian ports that is there. So what are these problems? Let us look into. The development of port infrastructure in India is on par with other ports across the world. That is, we are not spending as much money that is required to develop ports in India like other countries are doing. So there is, what you can say here, there is lack of investment maybe. Okay, there is lack of spending on the ports, or there is lack of development of the ports that is taking place in India. When you compare it with other countries, China's 10th largest port, China's 10th largest, okay, not the first largest, China's 10th largest port is 50 times bigger than the India's largest port. So you can imagine, it is already 50 times, 50% more bigger than the India's largest port. So how big that 10th port should have been, and how big will be the first largest port of China? So I leave it to your imagination. All of India's 12 ports that are officially declared as the major ports carry less traffic between them than the single port city of Singapore. So Singapore has this strategically important Malacca Strait as well. So most of the traffic will pass through this route, and they have developed a very vast port. And all these major ports that we have read, almost 12 of them, will not handle that much capacity like one port in Singapore is handling. Colombo can handle more container traffic than all the ports put together. Colombo is in Sri Lanka, with something like 3/4 of being transshipment of containers from India, because India's ports are too shallow. Okay, because India's ports are too shallow, the ships cannot come to the India's ports directly, because as the containers keep increasing in the ship's size will also keep increasing. Okay, when the ship size is increasing, when the waters are shallow, the ship cannot reach into the port. So because of this, what will happen, we are using the ports that are present in Sri Lanka, example the Colombo port, etc. We are using them so that we will our ships will come there, they will dump those containers there, and then a smaller ships will start shipping them into our ports. Okay, like if one ship is carrying for example say 100 tons, okay, now each of our ship will start carrying 10 tons per, so they have to make 10 times travel they have to do from Colombo port to India to shift those 100 tons of containers to India. So this is also one more drawback, because our waters itself are too shallow. Ports are very shallow, and we cannot accommodate bigger container vessels. For a country with a long time maritime tradition, this is a pathetic state of affairs. So we should have taken care to deepen the ports, okay, so that bigger ships can be accommodated into our port. But even if it was so easy, India would have done it long back. But there is some problem for deepening of the port as well. Let us see what is that also. Indian ships account for a tiny part of world trade, about 15% compared to the international norm of 40%. So usually a country will have a 40% trade, whichever is having so much of coastline. So we are having only 15%. So you can see there is less than half of what is mentioned. What happens in this case? We are not effectively using the resource that we have. Okay, if some country has such a big coastline, that country would have made use of it very effectively. But India is as seen from the international arena, if other countries are looking at India, they will think, why is India not using its resource completely? Okay, so this will happen. It has no civilian shipyards to compare with the world's best. The 2-3 private ones, there are also private ports, okay, like the private jets that you also have private ports. When you have these private ports more in number, you can say a country is more developed, or there is the standard of living is more in that country. So in that way also, India is having only 2 or 3 private ports. To build commercial vessels are deep in debt and short of orders. Most Indian ship owners prefer to look at foreign yards because of better quality and assurance on delivery schedules. In short, India's maritime business needs a booster shoot. Now, Make in India is there. Make in India should also concentrate on the shipping industry. We are not able to develop ships that can be of good quality and that are more durable. So because of this, people are looking into foreign options. They are going into foreign countries to place their orders. So because of this, we have to boost the shipping industry by giving some funds maybe, or raising some funds. So what's the reason for such a situation? Why is all this happening? The cost efficiency and non-competitiveness of the cargo has resulted in higher throughput and transport costs. We are not using or people are not effectively using the facility that is present, that is the ports. Usually the ports is one of the best option to transport cargo, or for the import and export of goods. It is one of the best option, but a very small part of it is being used by people, and very few people are taking advantage of it. Because of this, maybe it is lack of awareness or lack of infrastructure that is present. Because of this, people are not using it to its full potential. Shipping lines avoid touching ports in India because of long waiting time. Now, whenever a ship arrives, there is some checking process that goes on. because they come to the Indian side. Whenever you pass from one country to other, you usually have tolls, right? Tolls or the checkpoints. There your vehicle is checked. When if you are traveling by that road and your waiting time is increasing when you are standing in the check post, next time when you are coming, you will definitely avoid that road. If you know some alternate road, you will definitely take it. That is what is happening in case of ships as well. When they are coming into India's port, they are facing a lot of time to go through the checking process. So because of this, lot of ships are avoiding the Indian route and they are taking alternative routes. The capacity of various ports, including Mumbai, has already been exhausted, and now capacities of other ports like JNPT on the verge of exhaustion. Now you would have seen. You can link this to one current affair thing. There was a blast that happened in Beirut in Lebanon. Okay, because there was a stocking of a few a few explosive items that were in the shipyard. Because of this, what happens? When it is stocked for a long time, you have to take some measures also to keep it safe. When you're not taking any precautionary measures to keep it safe, that thing will also cause some disasters. This is one aspect. And even if it is not a thing, it is not a item that is a explosive, just one normal goods maybe. Okay, when it is there, when you find that it is illegal and you make the dumping there, you will tell them you just drop your goods here and you just haul those ships there, because they are doing some illegal things and they are not able to provide you the correct license for whatever they are trading. And then you block these items and you keep them in your port. When people will not come to release their items, pay some fine and release their items, or declare some documents and release their items, these stocks in the shipyard will keep piling up, and there is not 1 kg or 2 kg of items that will come from one ship. Okay, there are lot of things. Because of this, there is stockpiling of containers in the shipyards, and the ports are becoming crowded now. Okay, there is full capacity now. You can't fill that port with anything else. It is done, it is filled now. So there is no disposal of mechanism also. When this Lebanon incident happened, there was also warning to the Chennai port, because there are lot of items that have been seized in the Chennai port and they lie there, and nobody has come to claim them, and it is lying there from years. And this is also it is also a disaster causing kind of incident, and also it is occupying some space. When you have dumped that item into the port, it is occupying some space, and whenever you get another item to dump it there, you find there is lack of space. Okay, and other items, whichever they are perishable, you usually put them in the cold containers, and these cold containers also will exceed their capacity. So because of this also you will find problem. The turnaround time of ports in India is one of the biggest handicaps logistic service providers have to deal with. The major reason for the poor turnaround time at Indian ports is that they are not comparable to the global standards. Globally, in other ports, there is a very fast checking mechanism. Like take for example, there you have a toll road, and Indian ports are there for the normal like you have a toll and you have a person to collect your toll fee. You consider this is the position in India's port, and there is some foreign port that is having RFID technology, the fast tag technology. So the ships are just coming, just getting checked in seconds or minutes or in hours. They are just checking out from that port. But India, because they are giving it manually, or some they are not doing it this way, but I am just giving you an example so you will understand. If they are doing it manually like this, think of the time they need to check all the ports and do all this. And maybe some foreign ports also have this screening. Okay, so your car goes through this what you call a metal detector maybe, and if there is something, you will be stopped there. And India doesn't have it, it has to check manually, Indian ports. So this also is becoming a backlog. And moreover, these ports are very small when compared to the ports of other countries, so you have lesser staff as well. So when there is lesser staff, you think of examining a ship, how long will it take? Okay, this is also one more big problem, because Indian ports are not to the global standards. There are 12 types of different taxes that ships have to pay at their ports. we have so many taxes. There is a need for to counter this. What is there, instead of paying so many indirect taxes, we bought a GST, right? So instead of paying these 12 types of taxes, there has to be some integrated tax, so one single tax that can be paid by these ships at the ports so that they can exit easily. 3/4 of traffic which Colombo port handles consists of transshipment of containers from India, because Indian ports are too shallow. I told you, ports are too shallow, so it cannot have bigger container ships, accommodate bigger container vessels. This is the reason why Colombo port handles more ships than all the Indian ports that are put together. We have 12 ports. Colombo is just one port. Okay, we are comparing that, we are telling this one port is handling more than these 12 ports together, whatever they are handling. It is bigger. Okay, this what you call this number is bigger. This comparison is very bigger, and India being such a bigger democratic country, such a big nation in the Southeast Asia, it has to take some measures. So this comparison, we should not be facing such a comparison. Governance issues: major ports are managed by the central government while minor ports by the state government. So here also, because the government is taking care, government has lot of activities to take care. So you can also say the privatization of the ports can also help, because privatization has always, not always but maximum of the times, it has given benefit only, and because of their, it is always business, and it is always the profit motive that drives the business. And because of this, the private players will start developing the ports and maintaining them better. There is lack of coordination in the port traffic management and non-uniform tariff, resulting in suboptimal utilization of the port infrastructure. Political pressure, lack of autonomy, absence of incentives, excessive bureaucracy and hierarchical rigidities are the contributors to the current state of the Indian ports. This is a mains question. It's like if you get a question, write a brief note on the ports in India, port handling capacities of India, or how the ports are handled in India. So these are all the points that you can cover for mains. This is not especially for prelims. Prelims part comes here and there, while I have covered this, why there is such a situation in the ports. So you get some points to write in the mains as well. Inadequate dredging. Okay, there will be the soil erosion and all that. You should keep cleaning up these ports now and then, and you should keep removing the sand that accumulates at the ports and all that. Okay, all these should keep handling, should keep on be doing it, and container handling facilities also should be increased. Many major ports are affected by silting. There is silting also. I told you this point when I was telling you about inland waterways as well. So you know, this silting is a very big problem. It will also help, it is a big obstruction for the movement of the ships, and this makes the water very shallow. Except for Bombay and Madras, other ports do not have the facility of night navigation and pilots. Now you know, when you don't have navigation at night, and people who drive the ships are the pilots. Okay, when you don't have these facilities, it is definitely an obstruction of this. This hampers the working round the clock, so that when they reach the when they reach by night, okay, when they reach by evening, they have to halt in those ports itself, because at night they cannot navigate. Okay, except the Bombay and the Chennai port. So this is again taking off their travel time. You see, a night will almost stretch for 9 hours, and when they are not able to travel during this time, it is a huge number. It is a huge thing to just halt there somewhere for one night. Okay, now what is the government taking? What steps is the government taking to improve this situation? Definitely, when it is not viable for India, when there is so much criticism even in the international arena, India should have taken some steps. So let us see what are the steps taken. The government has launched the Sagarmala project, like the Bharatmala project that was launched for the highways. So we are laying down bigger highways, faster lanes, golden quadrilaterals, the corridor roads. So similarly, we have the Sagarmala project. Its prime objective is to promote port-led direct and indirect development and to provide infrastructure to transport the goods and to from effectively from the ports quickly, efficiently and cost effectively. This is concentrating mainly on the port development that is going to take place, because that is the main drawback that India is facing right now. Under this plan, a comprehensive and integrated planning for Sagarmala for the entire coastline shall be prepared within 6 months, which will identify coastal geographical regions to be called as coastal economic zones. So what are these coastal economic zones? Similar to the economic zones that is present on land. Okay, the economic zones that is present on land, usually you have these economic zones where few laws will not apply to them, like the labor laws maybe. Okay, likewise, when you give some relaxation to these, when you declare this area as coastal economic zone and you give them some relaxation, there will be definitely a certain development that will take place in that region. The government has also proposed Central Ports Act of 2016. This is very important to write when you are writing a mains answer, because statutory backing or any cases that is present, any programs that is launched and any other example that is compared with another country, it becomes very important, and it is always a value addition to your answer. To replace the major port trust, it is replacing the major port trust of 1963. Now when they ask you, even in the prelims type of question, the ports are governed by major ports trust of 1963, not anymore, because it is going to be replaced by Central Ports Act of 2016. To give more power and autonomy to the major seaports, under the proposed act of the major ports, it will be able to lease the land for the port related up to 40 years and non-port related activities up to 20 years. So because of this is like a part of privatization only. But you cannot use the term privatization, because you are not selling a stake to them, and you are just giving it to them on lease, like the China has taken Hambantota port, okay, like 99 years lease. Because like this, people will take the ports on lease and they will develop them, and whatever it is, let anybody develop, your port activities is going to increase because of that. Government has given SEZ status to JNPT port already, so this becomes important, because I have told that there will be coastal economic zone region that will be declared. Is there any port that has already got this status? Yes, it is JNPT port that is there in Maharashtra. Passing of National Waterways Act of 2015 and Coastal Shipping Agreement with Bangladesh, which has given a boost to coastal inland waterways. Port-led industrialization and modernization of adjacent situated areas has been envisaged as mechanism for enhancing indigenous manufacturing potential and creating employment opportunities. Like I told you, if the port is small, people working there are small. If you expand the port, more employment opportunities also. Government has allowed 100% FDI. This is important, very important. I can't stress on how much important it is, because you will get a statement type of question in this. Is there a government has allowed only 80% FDI in port-led activities? If you get a statement like this, is it true or false? It is false, because government has led 100% FDI for port development projects. There is only foreign direct investment. Please don't confuse it with the privatization. It is not telling 100% privatization it will do. No, it is telling only 100% FDI it is allowing. 100% income tax exemption will be there. See, when you do this only, the ports will start developing. If there is tax also, if there is no investment also from outside, if you are not getting adequate loans, who will try to develop the port? No one will come forward. When you are giving them so many incentives, people will come forward to develop those ports. There is exemption from the income tax is extended to the companies that are investing in the port infrastructure. Further, a 10-year tax holiday has also been given. See, 10 years is a bigger number. Okay, 10 years tax holiday is nothing, but you need not pay tax. Okay, tax holiday is given to enterprises that are engaged in the businesses of developing, maintaining and operating the ports, inland waterways and inland ports also, all of them. Okay. Government has proposed to work towards converting 12 public port trusts in India into corporations under the Companies Act to bring greater efficiencies in operations, to raise funds for growth and compete better with their private sector counterparts. 12 public trusts in India have been converted into corporations. Now when you make them a company, it becomes very much formal in working, and you have people more professional in working. Okay, when the working starts like this, there will be more and more development, and they will start competing with their private counterparts, that is the private people who are present in the same domain. The center recently has given its in principle approval for setting up of the 13th port at Yanayam in Tamil Nadu. Okay, this is very important again, which is the new port. What more can be done? Okay, you can build and maintain infrastructure for handling desired capacities. This all can be, if your answer is looking too big, you can write them in the way forward. Okay, important, not only what are the steps taken by India, the few other steps also can be taken like this, and you can end your answer. Okay, it is important to maintain draft to serve bigger vessels, ensure mechanization of ports through introduction of new equipment and procedures, build new facilities, upgrade existing facilities, and automate the systems. And there will be tariff determination by TAMP. There should be easy clearances and easy transactions. Develop user information portals, and we also need to corporationalize the major ports. Major seaports should be built, that is bigger seaports, like we are comparing it with China's 10th largest. At least we should have one very large port in India. And there is also need to improve the road connectivity. Only if you bring the items from the export and you dump it there will have no meaning unless you can transport it to other places. So introduction of or connectivity to road or rail is also important to the ports. I hope this lecture was helpful. You can find the PDF of the same in our Telegram channel, Simplifying UPSC with Ease. So do subscribe to Apurva Sharma classes. I will be uploading more lectures in the similar way, and also press the bell icon so you don't miss an update from us. Thank you.